Hello lovely students and welcome back to English with Lucy. Are you mispronouncing these common English words? I know, English pronunciation is so confusing. We have silent letters, a lack of fixed rules, lots of different accents. I could go on, but today you will find out if you're mispronouncing these 10 very commonly mispronounced words accurately. Now, an important disclaimer before we get started. I speak English with an accent. I speak with modern received pronunciation. That is what I'll be focusing on teaching you today. There are loads of different accents and loads of different variations in pronunciation. What is important is that the listener understands what you're saying. And if you really want your British English pronunciation to be clear, crisp, and confident, I have just launched my 5-day British accent bootcamp. All I need from you is 15 to 30 minutes per day for 5 days. You will learn the essential sounds of modern RP that go beyond what we cover in this lesson. We'll tackle tricky vowel sounds, we will nail the British R sound, and I will show you how we blend sounds together smoothly. Like how we say Tuesday instead of Tuesday. Think of it as your personal accent makeover for an incredible price. We are offering a huge discount. To learn more and join, scan the QR code there or click on the link in the description box. For now, we are offering lifetime access to the course content, so don't delay. Let's get started with number 1. How do you pronounce this word? My is getting clearer with practice. Now, if you said pronunciation, it's incorrect, but I understand your logic. You'll hear many native speakers making this mistake. The verb to pronounce is pronounced with the ow diphthong. So why not the noun too? The correct pronunciation is pronunciation. I often get accused of mispronouncing pronunciation because sometimes I say pronunciation so quickly it sounds like it could be pronunciation. So if you're ever tempted to correct someone, bear that in mind. One other thing you might hear is people adding a soft t sound before the s. Pronunciation. Some people do that. Let's move on to number 2. How would you pronounce this word here? The scientists began to analyze the what? Did you say data or data? Either is correct. They are both perfectly correct. However, one is more common in British English. Do you know which? Data is more common in British English. Feel free to use the long R vowel sound, data, if that works better for you. Now, our friends across the pond in North America would generally say data. Okay, our next word also causes a lot of confusion amongst my students. How would you pronounce this word? I have a hectic. Is it schedule or schedule? Now, according to most online dictionaries, Brits favour schedule with the sh sound. However, I'm British. I grew up in Bedfordshire and I heard lots of people say schedule. It really is a mix. In North America, schedule with the sk sound is favoured, but again, you might hear schedule. Number 4 is a word that seems to be having some sort of identity crisis. How would you pronounce it? I parked the car in the. So there are at least 3 common pronunciations for this word in British English. I tend to say garage. It's what I grew up saying. My parents say garage. This has an ij sound at the end. Some of my friends say garage, garage, with a long R vowel sound and a j at the end. The j sound is in words like usually and television. A similar pronunciation replaces the j sound with j as in jeans. Garage. So we have garage, garage, or garage. All three versions are stressed on the first syllable, ga. However, don't get ahead of yourself, I haven't finished yet. This word comes from the French word garer. So my French pronunciation needs a lot of work. Meaning to shelter. And why am I telling you that? Well, in many North American accents, there's a tendency to stress the last syllable and say garage or garage instead. So that's 5 different possible pronunciations for this one word. I personally prefer garage because it's what my dad says. Let's move on to another controversial word. How do you pronounce this one here? I'd like a with jam and cream. Clotted cream, to be precise. Now, if you said scone rhyming with phone, I'm afraid you're in the slight minority. If you said scone, as in gone, with the O sound, welcome to my club. This is most definitely how I prefer to pronounce this word. Scone, as in gone, not scone, as in phone. Now, not everyone in the UK agrees with me, and I'm certainly not saying that scone, as in phone, is incorrect. I know lots of people who are very passionate about the correct pronunciation of this word. There are regional differences as well with how we pronounce scone or scone. Let me know which one you'll go for in the comments. I welcome some friendly banter from Brits that disagree with me. We'll stick with food for the next word. How do you pronounce this vegetable here with large dark green leaves that can be cooked or eaten raw in salads? In a sentence, is packed full of nutrients. So, I usually say spinach, spinach with the short I vowel in the second syllable and ch at the end. Spinach, not spinach or spinach. But here's an interesting thing. Some speakers switch this unvoiced ch sound for the voiced j in jeans. Spinach. Can you think of any other words ending in ch with this alternative pronunciation? We have this one. Sandwich or sandwich. Norwich or Norwich. Greenwich or Greenwich. Okay, now for a word I hear mispronounced quite often. How would you pronounce it? Aunt Alice has always been a bit... what? Are we continuing with the food theme? No, we're not. But I do hear eccentric quite a lot. Instead of the voiced g, use the unvoiced k. Eccentric. Eccentric. Eccentric with the e vowel sound works well too. For number 8, we have a pair of words. How do you pronounce each one? He dreamt of and a lifestyle. Okay, so the first word is the noun luxury with the k sound. Luxury. But what happens when we switch to the adjective? It's not luxurious. The k changes to a g sound. Luxurious. I think it sounds more luxurious when you use the g sound as well. Luxury, luxurious. Notice how the stress shifts here too. Luxury, luxurious. Now remember, I'm modelling my modern RP accent, but in North American English, some speakers use a k sound followed by a sh, not z. So in British English, it's luxurious, and in some North American accents, it's luxurious. Let's stick with the k sound for this next word. What do you call this small star-shaped symbol that you can add to a phrase to add more information at the bottom of a page? Now, if you said asterisk, I'm really sorry, but you're wrong. Instead of thinking rix, you need to think risk. Asterisk. Now, you can choose to say asterisk or asterisk, and you will be understood. But technically, the correct pronunciation is asterisk. Okay, it's time for our final word, and this word is so utterly difficult that even the British legend that is Benedict Cumberbatch can't pronounce it correctly. Can you? How do you pronounce this super cute black and white animal that lives in the Antarctic? The waddled across the ice. Okay, so I'm very sorry. This is not a penguin. It's not a penguin either. This very cute animal is called a penguin. Penguin. Nice and simple, right? Not for Benedict. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Let me know which words you were mispronouncing and let me know your score out of 10 in the comments. And don't forget, if you want to improve your British English pronunciation, then you can join my brand new 5-day British Accent Bootcamp. There's a very special offer on that right now. To claim it, scan the QR code there or click the link in the description box. I will see you in the next lesson. Bye!